Welcome, Trinidad and Tobago, to our News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited and the Ministry of Communications. I'm Joseph Lopez. Let's take a look at our headlines. Former Prime Minister and President Arthur Napoleon Raymond Robinson to receive a 5-day full state funeral and burial in Tobago. The Chaguanas Chamber of Industry and Commerce discussed the initiatives to protect its burgesses from criminal elements. And US-based multinational corporation General Electric engages Trade, Investment and Communications Minister in talks of widening of its business relations. Welcome. Trade, Investments and Communications Minister Vasant Bharath offered his condolences over the passing of former President and Prime Minister Arthur Napoleon Raymond Robinson. In remembering Mr. Robinson, Minister Bharath described him as a one-of-a-kind politician who left his mark on the Trinidad and Tobago historical landscape.
I've known Mr. Robinson since I was a child. He's a dear friend and colleague of my father's. They were both involved in politics, although on opposite sides in the late 60s and early 70s. But a giant of a man upon whose contributions and shoulders Trinidad and Tobago was built. A man who always stood by his principles. And, it's unlikely that we will ever see someone emulate a lot of the feats that he has in terms of, the politics of becoming Prime Minister and President of the country, as a legal luminary, and of course being involved in the international court, setting up of the international court, but also as someone who stood by what he believed in when he walked away from the PNM in the early 70s, walked away from politics for a short while and then formed his own party, stood up to Dr. Williams at the time. So it showed a man that was resolute in his action to really follow through on what he believed was right. So it's a huge loss. He was a significant son of the soil, and as I said when I finished one of the interviews earlier on, they just don't make them like that anymore.
Very resolute indeed. And of course, government officials continue to extend condolences to the family and loved ones of former Prime Minister and President Arthur N.R. Robinson. Recently, the Minister of National Security recalled his experience working under the former president, Mr. Robinson.
Minister of National Security, Senator the Honourable Gary Griffith, recalled the time he spent serving former President His Excellency A.N.R. Robinson. The Honourable Minister spoke to members of the media at the Chaguanas Chamber of Industry and Commerce monthly breakfast meeting held on Wednesday and explained his experience working closely with the former President, Prime Minister and Tobago House of Assembly Chairman.
In the 15 years that I spent in the Trinidad and Tobago Defence Force, I think undoubtedly something that will stay within me and has been one of the most significant periods in my career in the military was when I was the aide-de-camp to His Excellency President Robinson. And he was a man that was very professional, and I learned a lot from him. I learned him paying attention to detail, his professionalism, and very important, what I learned is what I'm actually doing now as the Minister of National Security, not making decisions based on popularity, not making decisions because of what people will be pleased with, but doing something because it needed to be done. And he did that when he was the Prime Minister. He operated in the same manner as the President. And I think that character trait, it goes a long way towards anyone actually looking at that, extracting that and turning them into a better person. It has certainly helped me. We have lost a great soldier in His Excellency Robinson, and I say soldier based on how he operated when Trinidad and Tobago was at its darkest hour during the state of emergency. And may his soul rest in peace. My condolences go off to his immediate family and friends and to the country.
Minister Griffith spoke highly of President Robinson and said he was privileged to have worked with him.
I was very honored when it is that I was appointed and he had selected me and approved me to be his aide-de-camp. It is not easy to actually be the right hand for someone as great and powerful and intelligent as His Excellency Robinson, and I had to develop quickly to be able to keep up with a man like that. And we have lost a good soul.
Since the passing of President Robinson, condolences have been raining in from all quarters as he's remembered as a true statesman and national hero. Nikolai Edwards, News 4.
Meanwhile, arrangements for the 5-day state funeral of the former Prime Minister and President Arthur Napoleon Rayburn Robinson are close to being finalized following the establishment of a special committee to oversee the funeral arrangements. Now we understand that the first planning meeting for the state funeral was held on Thursday morning. Mr. Robinson passed away on Wednesday morning at the St. Clair Medical Hospital at the age of 87. Several proposals have been already laid on the table to recognize the life and contributions of the statesman and national hero.
A special committee has been set up to work out the details of the state funeral of former President His Excellency Arthur N.R. Robinson. This was announced on Thursday during the post-cabinet news briefing by Minister of National Security, Senator the Honourable Gary Griffith. Minister Griffith said there were 2 proposed dates for the funeral service of the late former president, and he explained that there would be a service which takes place over a 5-day period.
At this time, we cannot give the exact date of the funeral. What I can tell you is that we have done a lot of homework. We've had a sleepless night. And what we are going to do is this, the concept of the funeral, of this arrangement will be within a 5-day period. There will be 2 days where the body will lie in state in Trinidad and Tobago. Then day 3, it will be the actual state. It will be the funeral itself in Trinidad. The body will then be flown to Tobago, where it will then lie in state on day 4, and then day 5 would be the funeral itself in Tobago. The period would be either between the 29th of April to Saturday the 3rd of May, which will be the date of the funeral, or option 2, the 24th of April, with the funeral being Monday the 28th of April.
The minister said the body would lie in state at the Parliament of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago at the International Waterfront Centre, Port of Spain, on day 1 and day 2 between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m.
All special guests, dignitaries, officials, and members of the public will be allowed to pay their respects by filing past the flag-draped unopened casket. The service will then be held in honor of His Excellency on the morning, which will be then day 3, we are looking at the National Academy for the Performing Arts, NAPA, to be preceded by the procession of a military cortege with full honors from the Clark and Batu Funeral Home to Napa, along a route to be lined by members of the protective services and uniformed groups. Following this state service, the body of the late Arthur N.R. Robinson will lie in state in the eastern lobby of Napa until 3 p.m. and this will be on day 3. Another opportunity will then be afforded to members of the public to pay their final respects. Thereafter, the body of the late Arthur N.R. Robinson will lie in state at the Legislative Chamber of the Tobago House of Assembly, Scarborough, Tobago, and this will be on day 4, between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m.
On day 5, a procession which along the way would be lined by members of the protective services and national uniformed youth groups would head to a venue in Scarborough to be announced where a service of thanksgiving in honor of the life of A.N.R. Robinson would be held. Following this, there would be another procession, this time to the Scarborough Methodist Cemetery, where His Excellency would be laid to rest with full military honors. Official condolence books would be available across Trinidad and Tobago to members of the public at several venues which would be published. Following consultations between Prime Minister the Honourable Kamna Persad-Visessa and the family of the late A.N.R. Robinson, dates and funeral arrangements would be finalised and made known to the public. Nikolai Edwards, News 4.
Thank you, Nikolai. More news after the break. Welcome back. Worldwide conglomerate General Electric is looking to expand its business in the Caribbean and Latin America with its base in Trinidad and Tobago. In welcoming the cooperation, Trade Investments and Communications Minister Vasant Bharath describes the widening of business as reflecting the changes in ease of doing business here in Trinidad and Tobago.
American multinational corporation General Electric has been in Trinidad and Tobago for over 15 years now. However, the move to expand its base in the Caribbean and Latin America saw the conglomerate host a one-day conference with the aim of highlighting its wide expanse in business opportunities. With rich energy deposits here in Trinidad and Tobago, GE's products have played a pivotal role in exploration and refinery processes while providing solutions for LNG. For President and CEO of the Andean region, Luis Carrillo, the environment within the Caribbean region looks promising for the expansion of business.
When you look at our region, for GE, Trinidad is in excess of 30% of our total revenue. Such a small country, but with a tremendous opportunity for a company like GE. Why does it have a tremendous opportunity? Because of the sectors that we can, as a technology company, provide solutions for. Oil and gas, power and water, resources that Trinidad has had for many, many years and that continue to fuel the tremendous growth we've seen in this economy. And such, GE is placing local resources to help the development of this economy, the development of projects, and keep growing the infrastructure.
The one-day conference saw the coming together of GE with InvestTT, local purveyor of business solutions to foreign investors looking to enter the TNT market. President of the business promotion company, Raquel Moses, extended the invitation to GE's expansion of their success story here in Trinidad and Tobago.
As InvestTT, whether you are a foreign investor that is here looking to bring technology and create jobs and industry in our country, or whether you're a local company that really wants to expand, let us help you create your next success story.
Operations currently based in Panama has already opened doors to the region as the availability of human capital and competitive energy make up the elements critical for growth of industry in this part of the world. Trade, Investment and Communications Minister Vasan Barath describes GE as a key development partner and says a testament in GE's expansion speaks for the improvement in Trinidad and Tobago's international reputation.
When a company which has been named #1 most admired company in the world by Forbes magazine in 2012, a company which has been recognized as a #5 global brand by Interbrand in 2011, and a company which has a presence in 150 countries makes the decision that the time is right to reinforce and reaffirm its commitment to Trinidad and Tobago, I know that we're moving the economy in the right direction, and I know that this government is doing the right things. We recognize in GE a company that was and could be in a more expanded capacity, a key development partner in the new strategic business direction that has been planned for Trinidad and Tobago. So once again, I take this opportunity to congratulate you for hosting this conference, and I thank you for your continued confidence in the people and the government of Trinidad and Tobago.
Minister Barath attributes this turnaround in business coming to Trinidad and Tobago to the reform of policies, which he dubs the move from red tape to red carpet.
This level of achievement does not take place by mere chance, but was realized as a result of astute management and careful planning and implementation of a package of successive reforms to grow the economy in a very coordinated manner. We're actively pursuing the development of new strategic sectors to assist in the diversification process so that we're no longer dependent in the long term on one source of revenue, which is oil and gas. And we've identified the sectors of the financial services, ICT, tourism, the creative industries sector, agro-processing, the maritime sector, and downstream energy services.
GE began operations in Trinidad and Tobago in early 2001 and has provided services to the oil and gas sector, implementing critical technology to Atlantic LNG. The company has also provided healthcare equipment to private and public health institutions. Kimberly Calawan, News 4.
The Chaguanas Chamber of Industry and Commerce is ensuring its burgesses are safe, having taken steps to better understand the country's crime situation while liaising with relevant stakeholders in the areas of safety and protection.
The Chaguanas Chamber of Industry and Commerce hosts its monthly breakfast meeting to discuss several topics, address issues, and plan ahead. However, Wednesday's meeting at the Signature Hall, Chaguanas, was one with a difference. The theme of the program was Partnership for a Safe TNT and included speakers such as Minister of National Security, Senator the Honorable Gary Griffith, and other key stakeholders in the implementation and facilitation of crime-fighting initiatives and services.
Over the years, the criminals have held our nation to hostage, and the ransom that remains unpaid, that is our peace. Years after year, no matter which government comes into power, the blame is passed from one to the other. Who does right, who does wrong? This issue is not what we're going to focus on. We're not going to play the blame game. What we are looking on is to help stop the continued blood flow that has been going through our island. Over the past 6 years, hundreds have died at the hands of criminals. We must remember that every murder is more than just a statistic. It is a father, it's a mother who's killed, is actually the foundation of the family has been lost.
Mayor of Chaguanas, His Worship Gopal Budan, also spoke of the severe impact crime has on his borough and the country by extension.
Safety and security is important to me as the Mayor of Chaguanas, and any crime initiative will be taken positively since we are constantly seeking ways to ensure that members of our community are living in a safe environment. Major emphasis has been given to the development of youth within our communities by partnering with community police to work with the community members to help create better and safer communities. More consideration is needed to help in the expansion of this initiative with community policing so that we are able to have a greater impact with our citizens and foster greater relationship as we aim to maintain the Chaguanas promise of building better and safer communities, all in it for the prosperity of Chaguanas.
His Worship revealed his decision to stop the annual military parade which takes place during the borough's anniversary celebrations in October.
And that is so because monies for that parade, we are going to redirect those monies to reintroduce Scouts and Girl Guides and police youth clubs in the 20 primary schools in the borough of Chaguanas.
The Honorable Minister of National Security spoke of initiatives that were implemented in New York City that successfully lessened the crime rate. Minister Griffith noted that the former mayor of New York and the current New York City Police Commissioner would soon visit Trinidad and Tobago so that experiences would continue to be shared so lessons would be learned in dealing with the local crime situation.
You just can't piggyback and take things from other countries, but looking at the concept of computerized statistics, National Operations Center, proper National Security Training Academy, within Hearts and Minds, the importance of social crime prevention. But even when the murder rate went down and major crime went down, the perception and the fear of crime in New York City was still there for 2 years. And we are now going through that same situation. We would hear law enforcement officials speak about major criminal activities. You can look at serious indecency, kidnapping, burglaries, robberies, general larceny, motor vehicle larceny, narcotic offenses, woundings. That this has all gone down by over 40% in the last 2 years, but it means nothing. It means nothing to the citizens if you do not feel safe, if you do not have that, if that perception and the fear of crime if it is still there. So the statistics will be just that. And it is very important for us, what I am doing is not just to try to reduce crime and make this a safer country, it is also to take away that perception and the fear of crime.
At the CCIC breakfast meeting, attendees got the opportunity to witness presentations from Blink Vigilance, Ashton Enterprises Limited, Advanced Security Company Limited, and Crime Stoppers Trinidad and Tobago. It is expected that an all-inclusive approach would be taken in dealing with crime in the Central Borough and by extension the country, with greater stakeholder buy-in. Nikolai Edwards, News 4.
We take a break. Sports news when we return. Thank you for staying with us. With junior athletes fine-tuning for the Carifta Games and the international stars getting into stride with their preparation, Southern Games 2014 produced some interesting results. Here's Wayne Cunningham with highlights of the sprints.
The Carifta Games will be held in Martinique over the Easter weekend, and some of the athletes chosen show their worth at Southern Games 2014. Janae Spinks of Neon Trackers surely did in the girls under 16 100 meters.
Honoré is off to a pretty fast start, but there goes Spinks. Spinks it is, who is going to take it up from there, and she's going to cruise to the line, winning it nicely ahead of Honoré. Estelle was also there.
The neon trackers colors, and that's Estelle
on the inside, yep.
From point 40, taking second. She started dip for the line too early. She was hoping that the line came
Look
to
at
her.
third here.
Third is from Memphis Pioneers.
Amongst the boys, there was no catching Adele Coltrus of Southern Athletic.
There goes Coltrus immediately, just burst to the front, and there he goes. It's not even close. And Coltrus is going to win it from Honoré, and quite comfortably. And let's look at who was second, also getting a little bit of separation here. As well, easily the winner, Coltrus. And we'll wait to see.
That's Ronaldo Moore.
And look at
Simplex.
Simplex just getting up in time here. Dale Joseph.
The girls under 18 was a tight affair after one of the favorites, Jada Barker, false started. Kadisha Prescott took first from Shakila Walcott and Ryan Linton.
Concord, Prescott and Walcott.
With Linton.
The Linton for a while looked like she was heading for the line, but then Prescott really pushes hard at the end here. And of course she was being challenged by Walcott, so she obviously felt the heat there and she had to get a move on.
Chad Richards of Peanut Athletic was easily the winner in the boys division.
Got in the middle of the track here.
That's Chad Richards.
Chad Richards is the man making his move here, and Chad Richards is going to bring them home easily.
Taking it from Warriors, and in third place you're seeing Elijah Young from Mustang.
The form book stayed true in the men's under 20, with Jean-Marc Constantine of Concord capturing gold.
Moving away, Constantine is going to win this one from Garraway.
Jove Ford, Patrice.
Is it Ford who is going to come up? We're looking at.
We have Garraway from Constantine, 14 New Jets, and in third place Jove Ford from Abilene.
The women's 100 meters for locals was taken in impressive fashion by Point 14's Aliyah Telesford.
For
Murray.
Telesford, this looks like Telesford by Murray. So that's Telesford by Odnika Murray of Simplex. You see them heading into the finish line here. So that's Telesford
from Murray,
from Janae Alexander from Memphis. Murray's from Simplex.
Olympian Misha Lee Ahi headlined a class field in the women's invitational, and she did not disappoint.
And Misha Lee Ahi is going to run away with this one. Anna from Simplex.
And looks like Kael Clark in third on this. So she is followed home by Kamara Durant from Simplex, Kael Clark.
The local men's race was a tight encounter. Pedigree came to the fore as LaShawn Noel, son of former national athlete Edwin Noel, took first place.
Going to win this one, yes. Comfortably over the line. 1, 2, 3. I don't think there's any question.
So that's LaShawn Noel. That's the son of Edwin Noel.
One of the marquee events at the Games is the men's 100-meter invitational, which was expected to be a battle between TNT Olympic medalist Keston Bledman and Jamaica's Sheldon Mitchell.
But he's going to have to keep going because they're still coming at him. Pritchett is trying to get there. And
Bledman showed his class and had the race won at the 60-meter mark. Wayne Cunningham, News 4 Sports.
More news after the break. Welcome back. Trinidad and Tobago continues to show its support and appreciation for the cause of the Special Olympics World Games. The event, which is 46 years in existence, has been used as a platform to highlight the achievements and talents of the intellectually challenged.
The Special Olympics World Games are an international sporting competition for athletes with intellectual disabilities organized by Special Olympics, which is the world's largest sports organization for children and adults with intellectual disabilities. Although local Special Olympics events and competitions are held around the world every day, the World Games are flagship events. The goal is to showcase the skills and accomplishments of people with intellectual disabilities on a global stage. The World Games, which alternate between Summer Games and Winter Games, feature more than a week of competitions involving thousands of athletes. Through media coverage of the Games, the stories and achievements of children and adults with intellectual disabilities are made known to millions of people worldwide. In the lead-up to each Special Olympics, the Law Enforcement Torch Run is used as a platform to increase awareness and raise funds for the Special Olympics movement. Since its inception in 1981, it has grown extensively worldwide with over 97,000 volunteers spanning 46 countries and raising more than US $461 million for the Special Olympics movement. On Saturday, the local LETR committee hosted its torch run from Arima to the Jean Pierre complex, which brought awareness to the Special Olympics and even the local hopeful participants. The event received the full support of the Arima Borough Corporation and the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service and is seen as a way of celebrating the talents and abilities of an even wider cross-section of persons in Trinidad and Tobago. Even Mobile Network Digicel, along with one of the company's brand reps, Soca Queen Destra Garcia, showed full support for the initiative and made the day a memorable one. The 2015 Special Olympics World Summer Games are set to be held in Los Angeles, California from July 25th to August 2nd, 2015. Nikolai Edwards, News 4.
Heartwarming indeed. Well, that's how we wrap up this edition of our News 4 Report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited and the Ministry of Communications. I'm Joseph Lopez. Thank you for watching.